Good morning, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It's Friday. You've got a job probably and things to do, but here we go. Last Friday before training camp. Didn't think we'd ever get here, actually. I thought time would just stretch on in one continuous Adam Schefter, Aaron Rodgers loop. But time does indeed march on, and Sunday night I'll be decamping for one Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to all of you, every single one of you, going to your app store and downloading Underdog Fantasy. It's the best and easiest place to play fantasy football for big cash prizes. On Underdog Fantasy, you just draft. No need to worry about waivers, lineups, or injuries. Underdog handles it all for you. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app, draft a season-long best ball team, and that's it. No in-season management. And you get a free $25 if you sign up right now using code Cheesehead. That's the code Cheesehead when you make your first deposit, and you can take your shot at $1 million grand prize, their fantasy football tournament. And while we're talking sponsors and partners, why don't we talk about Doug's fine work over there at Vintage Football League? That's VINFL. Head over to VINFL for this fine piece. Look at that. You guys have seen that picture behind me for about a year now. Doug put it on a sweatshirt, and let me tell you, that is a fine piece of clothing. Head to VINFL.com. Use code CheeseheadTV for 15% off. VINFL.com, code CheeseheadTV for 15% off. Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? I can't believe you're all here. Didn't we have like a training camp preview last night? Answered all your questions? You're still coming back for more? That's why I love you guys. You're diehards. Only the true diehards are here on a Friday morning after we had an hour show last night talking about anything and everything green and gold. Savage and Amos lead the league in INTs. Is that the question there? I'm going to go with no, Pack One. As much as I'd love them to, I don't see that happening. I think the roundtable should be a twice-a-day occurrence. That would be a bit much. I don't know if I can handle that much Tom Grassi. I kid. Julie, TGIF, going to be a warm weekend and all next week here in Wisconsin. Well, I'm packing plenty of shorts and T-shirts. So I always do this. I always do this thing where I'm getting ready to go for camp, and I'm like, oh, I should bring a nice shirt in case I go up to dinner somewhere, or at least some nice pair of slacks and blah blah blah. And I get there, and all I ever wear are T-shirts and shorts and like sandals. Maybe some comfortable shoes for standing around at practice for hours. But yeah, man, like every year I'm like, oh, I might need this, I might need that, and I never need anything except shorts and T-shirts. So that is the game plan when I pack up on Sunday. Anyway, the Packers rework Aaron's contract to 1 year and let him become a free agent next year and lose out on draft picks. No, that is not going to happen. Does Savage still have issues with taking bad angles? Well, that's one of the things that we'll see how his continued development translates after an offseason, because there was still a very readily apparent issue at the beginning of last year, but that seemed to really dissipate as the year went on. But that you never really know if guys are going to regress, if they're going to take a step back, or if they're going to continue on the path that they were towards the end of the year. I mean, you had a lot of guys playing their best football on the defensive side of the ball down the stretch in the last month or so of the season. But yeah, one can only hope. Megan, what's up, Megan? Thanks for the super chat. Will I see you at home opener in September? TBD. I don't know right now. Right now, I think we're planning on me being in New York in the studio for the watch party. But there's a lot up in the air. That's still to be determined. I'll just say that. Good to see you, Megan. Thanks for checking in. I'm excited for Eric Stokes. Bryson, I am excited for Eric Stokes as well. How could you not be? Young, sticky corner with speed to burn. Come on. Love it. What's the most shocking way Rodgers could show up next week? I say in a Jordan Love jersey with Favre as his driver, maybe a Goody face mask too. Well, that's all crazy, but what if he just like walks in hand with Goody? Come on now. That'd be fun. I'm curious if Amari Rodgers gets running back snaps and lets them keep just 3 backs. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the tail end of the depth chart shakes out at running back. I do think Amari Rodgers will get snaps in the backfield. I don't know if it's going to be a significant amount, though, especially to the point where they would only keep 3. Um, Now, is it a possibility because of that that versatility allows them to use them in a pinch, so to speak? Yeah, sure. I guess it will depend on guys like Patrick Taylor and Kylan Hill and how they operate and perform on special teams. Because if they're both really good, it's going to be hard to justify cutting them. Um, but maybe they think they can get by with just 3. It's possible. Tulio, thanks for the super chat. Cheesehead TV is a hell of a drug. Have a good one. Thanks, Tulio. Thanks for checking in, man. Do you think we will get Kenny Clark some help with the interior line, Kendrick? The help that they get was a new defensive coordinator with a new scheme and TJ Slayton. That is pretty much all the help I'm expecting. Now, maybe some surprise signing / trade happens here in the next month or so, but I'm not holding my breath. Cleo's or Jim's play says must stop when you're back in town. Oh, Josh, yes. Why are you asking me to choose between my children? Also found out when I was back in town, they revamped the checkered flag. Oh, the checkered flag. I remember the checkered flag. Now game day. It's a good stop to hit up when in town. All right, I'll have to check it out, Josh. But yeah, Cleo's and Jim's are my two regulars, I guess you'd call it. My friend Rachel has bartended at Cleo's forever. And I know a lot of people down at Jim's. Those are old school joints too. It's none of this newfangled nonsense that College Avenue has become. Stokes grabs too much, just like Josh Jackson, and this is all irrelevant because without 12 seasons lost, boy, are you ridiculous. He does grab a little bit. There's no doubt about that. The penalties are like the one issue, and I think I said that draft weekend that kind of give you pause and make you hope. All right, he's got to get coached up and get that out of him. This idea the season's lost without 12. Get the fuck out of here. What are you, a Bears fan? Probably with an attitude like that. Eric, thanks for the super chat. Bold prediction, Rashawn Gary, defensive player of the year. Book it. Whoo, Eric. It's aiming high there, buddy. I mean, I hope. Patrick, what's up, man? How you doing up north? Thanks for the super chat. I love the roundtable. Thank you so much, Patrick. Hopefully we'll do a few more of those during the season. Holy crap, talking about Appleton. Mike, I grew up in Appleton. Yes. And that's where I stay when I'm home for camp because my parents are still there. Mm-hmm. That guy is a Bears fan. LMAO. Must be. Any chance the Vikings rack up enough COVID fines that the Wilfs have to sell the team? No. Julian, thanks for the super chat. How do you think 12 announces he's back next week? A tweet, IG post from the man himself, Schefter scoop, or a teammate / James Jones scoop? Julian, I'm going to let you know. I put out a video from the roundtable last night. I'm with my esteemed and in some cases not so esteemed colleagues from around the internet when I say I don't think Aaron's showing up next week. I'm going to be surprised if he's there on the 27th. I'm going to be surprised if he's there before preseason games. After that, it'll be touch and go, and we'll see what transpires, how it develops. But I don't think he's showing up next week. So we'll see. Brian, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Stay hydrated next week, meaning chug lots of beer. As Matt LaFleur said on Packer Transplants, there's water and beer, right? Problem solved. Did we get everything out of Josh Jackson? William, it sure feels like it, right? Unfortunately. Now, the one kind of tiny, minuscule straw that you can grasp at is the fact that they are instituting a new scheme. And maybe, just maybe, that unlocks something that hasn't happened so far for Josh. Look, I thought Josh had a pretty damn good summer last year. And they held up okay with him when Kevin King went down last year. I mean, he had a bad penalty down in Tampa, but for the most part, like, you didn't really notice Kevin King was gone. And I'm not saying, oh, that's like the goal. Of course not. But it's not like he was this train wreck when he played, what was it, 3 or 4 games last year. So, a guy on a cheap contract, and he's in the last year of his rookie deal, new system. Let's, let him hit camp and see how he does. And I suspect he'll probably make it through the year because, he's a corner in the NFL who's got 3 years of experience and he's dirt cheap. Now, the problem with keeping him around is that he didn't play special teams last year. If you're going to keep him over somebody else, he's got to play teams. So that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for starting next week is he being utilized on teams? Is he being given a chance on special teams? Because if he's not, then things don't look so good. Then things aren't looking great for old Josh. Go Pack Go! 297, what's up, man? So when Rodgers shows up, how will you handle it, and what will be the first question you ask him if and when you get the chance? Man, I'll ask him if he got the T-shirt. I sent him a Complicated Fellow T-shirt. Kyle, thanks for the super chat. Obligatory reminder to get Olive a dog. Kyle, you are a terrorist. But thank you. We need help at inside linebacker. They got help at inside linebacker. They went out and got Devondre Campbell. I think I just butchered his first name. But I tell you what, I like cut of his jib, man. That guy was rock solid down in Arizona. The reason he became available is because Arizona drafted a young kid that they wanted to get on the field. But, man, he's really consistent and a pretty damn good coverage linebacker as well. So, I mean, is he, Luke Kuechly in his prime? No, of course not. But he's better than a lot of the guys they've been throwing out there the last couple of years. So I'm not saying they've solved it, but, they got some help. Obligatory reminder to get Olive a dog. Good Lord. Charlene! Hello! I hope things are well across the world. Can't wait for Cheesehead TV content from Green Bay. Go Pack Go. Thank you, Charlene. And yes, I can't wait to be in Green Bay to give you said content. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, no. Oh, Mike with words. Mike with words here. Basil's greater than Cleo's? Sir. No. I like Basil's. Basil's is a lot of fun. Great spot. But no. I cannot allow slander to stand here on the chat. Rodgers be ladder match for control of the Packers. It's the only way to end this. What? Kevin, thanks for the super chat. Spotted Cow Fund. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks so much. Did you see Jordan Love's Instagram video? If so, how hyped did it make you? Peyton, I did not see Jordan Love's Instagram video as of yet, but I will seek it out. Tim, Aaron, I'm back. Start impressing me. Are you talking to Aaron Rodgers? I'll let him know. Fred, thanks for the super chat. Morning, Nags. Got nothing, but here's the last weekend without some actual Packer stuff to talk about. Also taking my 1-year-old daughter is already dancing to your intro. Go Pack Go. Oh, well, that's very kind of you to say. Man, yeah, last weekend without, I guess, actual Packer info. I'm going to be so excited for training camp to start, and then they're not going to be in pads, and it's going to be like, come on, let's get in pads. They won't be in pads until like a week from Wednesday. Why does nobody think he will show up for camp, Teddy? Because he's at odds with the front office. Have you missed the summer? How did Peter Bukowski get past the Corey protocol and on a Cheesehead TV show last night? Mostly because I didn't tell Corey that I was booking him until the show was ready to go. Best bar in Appleton, Chadwick's? Oh, Holden, no. You guys and your stuff. Come on now. The best bar is Jim's place. We all know this. Has Rodgers called you? No. The defensive line is thin at best. Snacks was a Band-Aid, and Slayton is a rookie. Any chance a free agent is brought in? No. I would be absolutely shocked if anything other than, somebody on the waiver wire who has bounced around the league and is a young guy who maybe they've had their eye on since the draft process. That's the one thing I could think of. I could see happening. But like some major free agent signing, that ain't happening. Nags, you've been calling Campbell Peterson on and off the past few weeks, and I'm so glad Maggie corrected you last night. I just completely blew a microchip. It was so bad. I've been thinking about a completely different player, obviously, and it's just stuck in my brain. And then Maggie was like, "Are you talking about Campbell?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." It's good stuff. Oh, that's cold. What dirt does Will Redmond have on the Packers that he was able to get re-signed? Look, all players have value, and I understand there are plays that stick in your mind that are poor, and Will's had a few. But that doesn't mean he's worthless, and it doesn't mean he's not worth re-signing. You guys are just so got to be negative about everything. Aaron, give me some input on tight ends. Well, I've said pretty much all offseason that they got to get a lot more out of their tight ends this year, and I expect they will. I think they'll utilize, hopefully, a few more of them in different ways than they have in the past. Clearly, you got to wonder about Josiah DeGuara coming back off the ACL. Hopefully, he's ready to go sooner rather than later. Jace's situation makes it tough because we're going to have him all summer, and he's going to practice, and then he's down for 2 games. Tunyon, I think, will make a not a big step, but he'll continue to develop. And I think all this nonsense about, it's just Rodgers in the scheme will hopefully dissipate as the year goes on, because I think he's a good player who's only getting better. Obviously, Big Dog is who he is. He's a mountain of a man who moves human beings for a living. And I think he's better in the passing game than probably most people give him credit for, even at 1,000 years old. And look, Dominic Daphne has a chance to stick. He's a special teams demon, and he was definitely getting the offense down towards the end of the year. So to me, it's about mixing and matching those pieces. And as I said earlier this summer, I'd love to see Matt get a little bit more creative with that personnel group, because I think there's a lot of potential in how you can mix and match pieces there to give defensive coordinators problems, especially when they're coming out like, say, 3 tight ends. And defensive coordinators will most likely counter with heavy personnel, and then you come out of you break the huddle, and then you spread them all out, and now you've got linebackers and safeties out in space. And maybe you even if you just run a draw off of that just to keep the box open. But or you can run a smoke from a guy in the slot, have the other guy block. You got a big man in space out there. So all sorts of stuff you can do that I think they can really explore that they haven't yet with that group. Mm-hmm. All jokes aside, I really think Kylan Hill will impress people. I'm with you, man. I love his college tape. College tape doesn't mean anything once you get to the NFL, but man, he's a brick shithouse. He gets the ball in his hands, he's ready to just destroy people. So, yeah, I am excited to see him, especially get out in space and hit people once the preseason starts. Oh my gosh. If Mark Murphy would send Rodgers his locker, would it finally give us some closure to Rodgers watch? What a callback right there. Man, remember that whole ordeal? Packers sending Rodgers Favre his locker? That's hilarious. Any throwback jersey announcements? Nathaniel, not yet, but they will be announcing that in August. I know this for a fact. And it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be pretty cool. So watch Packers.com, I guess. But yeah, that announcement is coming. Packers don't have money next year. That is correct, Chris. Thank God it's not next year, it's this year. So that's what I'm going to focus on. You guys can worry about the 2022 salary cap all you want. Go play accountant. Have a great time. I don't give a shit. I'm worried about 2021. That's where my head's at. Packers seem to change their attitude about drafting injured players. Have the Packers seem to change their attitude about drafting injured players? I don't think they have an attitude one way or the other than they want the best football players possible. Sometimes guys are injured. I mean, the injury rate in the game of football is 100%. So, no, I don't think attitudes have changed in any way. Is this a Bears chat? What do you think of Justin Fields and how he will play with Nagy's scheme? I think he's a fine young quarterback. Great, great, great talent who will get ruined by the Bears. This is just history talking. Holden, thanks for the super chat. I like to think that even if Love isn't 100% ready, Matt LaFleur's offense is QB friendly. McVay and Shanahan rode Jimmy Garoppolo and Goff to the Super Bowl. Thoughts? I mean, look, yes, is the scheme friendly for quarterbacks? It absolutely is. But Garoppolo and Goff had years of experience in the NFL when they made their Super Bowl runs. Don't get it twisted. Jordan Love is still raw as hell. And that's why the Packers gave him 90% of the snaps in the offseason. Because if Rodgers doesn't show, and it is Jordan Love time, he's had like no time on the field in the NFL. No offseason last year, had a quick 2-week training camp last summer, And then he was inactive for the entirety of the season. So, and yes, he practiced. Obviously, he was on some reps during practice, but even then, Boyle was running scout team. So, yeah, it's not. If Jordan Love has to play this year, I'm excited for it to start the Jordan Love era. Don't get me wrong, but expectations need to be dialed back. This idea that the scheme is just going to make everything work. And I know that's not strictly what you're saying, but there are going to be some ugly moments. There are going to be times it's going to be hard to watch. It's just a question of the kid learning from that, getting those reps, banking those reps, as the coaches like to say, and developing and learning from it and getting better each and every rep, not making the same mistake twice. That's the whole ball of wax. Where's Clay Matthews? I'm not sure I care. Prime Clay was so good. It was. If you could pick one home game to go to next year, which one would it be? Next year? Next year? You mean this year? You mean this season or next season? Because we don't know the schedule next season. That's a confusing question. How do you think the special teams will be this season? Nowhere to go but up. No, that's not true. I remember. It could be worse. Could be much worse. I think they'll be slightly better. I'm excited to see what Maurice does with the crew. It's hard to say, okay, they're going to have the assistant from last year come in and implement whatever new ideas, and they're going to just be magically better. I think a large part of it is down to J.K. Scott and or whoever the punter is, because, a lot of their coverage issues were due to bad punts, either little hang time or down the middle of the field rather than directional, et cetera, stuff like that. So if Maurice can get that fixed, get the punter fixed, I think a lot of the perceived headaches around the special teams will go away. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to get going. Can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers. Hey, if you're a fantasy football fan at all, join me this afternoon at 1 p.m., say on your lunch break or what have you, for Fantasy Friday. I'll be talking to Josh Norris here on Cheesehead TV. We're going to be talking about all the fantasy-relevant Packers, and then we'll be taking your questions, not just on the Packers, but about fantasy football in general. Anything you want to talk about when it comes to the game of fantasy, Josh Norris will be here. Josh, obviously, is with Underdog Fantasy, old friend of mine. The man is one of the smartest analysts working on the internet. If you got any fantasy football questions, be back here today at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a lot of fun. In the meantime, please hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you in Green Bay. Go Pack Go.